What's going on, y'all? This is Complex Black Boy, the creator of BlackBoiComplex, and you are now tuned in to the BlackBoiComplex. Excuse me while I eat this amazing fucking ice cream, my favorite, Talenti Southern Butter Pecan. It's really what dreams are made of, for real. Like, it's hot as hell in here, and I just got home. My AC wasn't on, so I'm just gonna sit here in the kitchen and let everything cool down. But speaking of cooling down, I had a little upset over the weekend, and so I just really want to talk a little bit about it. We don't have to talk about the upset. That doesn't really matter anymore. That's neither here nor there. But what I do want to do is really hone in on some things that me, you, anybody who is interested in hosting a space, creating a space, DJing a space, occupying a space, and you want to make sure that it's safe for others, then this is something that I suggest that you watch, because I've been thinking about this for a really long time, and it's about time that it's actually being said. This episode is going to be called Creating Safe Spaces. So, what is a safe space? Quite frankly, it depends on the person. It's really relative. But for me, a safe space is a space, my safe space, it's a space that I can go to in which I am comfortable and I don't have to worry about my safety, specifically being black, being masculine, being a little chubby, body positive. There you go. Someplace that's body positive. Those are safe spaces to me. And when thinking about creating different safe spaces for people who are like me, have similar needs to mine, I think about just kind of like the right way to go about it. So let's just walk through the steps that somebody would take if they're trying to create a safe space for the very first time. Let's assume that you're queer and black or of color. What you would do is, the number one thing is make sure that the event space is secure. And this is one of the most important places. You're going to find an event space. You want to make sure that the event space is secure. And so, number one, that means that everyone is on board. You want to call the owner of the space or the person who rents out the space and be very clear and transparent. Don't hide things. Don't keep things out. I know you really want the space, but do not neglect to tell them who the space is for. That is so important. So make sure you tell them who the space is for, what you expect in the space, right? After moving forward with that, because you can end the call right there, like, I know I can't guarantee that. All right, bet. Thank you so much. I appreciate, you staying on the phone with me. That's a dub. Moving along. This shit's so good. Moving along. So, you're having this space. All right, let's say everything is good, and they said okay, and they guarantee that this is a space that's safe for your peoples. Next step, talk to the space about who they hire, right? Because their space might be safe, but they might use different companies this night, different companies that night for bouncing and whatever, right? Because all that space needs to secure is their event and the bartenders that they hire, but they hire out for security. You need to make sure that the security guards are on board, right? It's important. The last thing you want to do is create an event, create an environment outside of the door that, number one, makes people not want to come to your events anymore. Number two, makes people feel unsafe. And number three, is just fucking wrong and violent You don't want that. You don't want that. You want to make sure that everybody's cool and on the same page on the security front. Next step, you're going to need to have somebody work the door. If you're going to have somebody work the door, you need to make sure that they're well trained. All right? This is another part. Train the people that you work with. Okay? Train them. Make sure that we're all on the same page. All right. Example. Let's say I'm a trans man. This is a space for QTP. Let's say it's QTPOC get in free, right? They might read me as a cisgender heterosexual male. Now I gotta pay. I wasn't expecting to pay when I got here. Now I gotta pay at the door. That's not okay. And also, you shouldn't have anybody having to disclose their sexuality, having to disclose their gender to you in a public space. Imagine how horrifying it can be if you are a trans man or trans woman or gender nonconforming, you know what I'm saying, and you got maybe 3 or 4 cis heterosexual dudes behind you. You don't want to disclose who you are. That might not be the safest space, right? So you want to make sure that the people who are working the door are going to just be able, we're not even arguing about it. So a conversation that you could have could be, hi, hopefully this is somebody on your camp. I'm going to just keep it real. Make sure that when you have people on your team, they know, it's your team, you feel me? They know your community. You got to, I think that's the number one thing here. Make sure that the event is for the community and by the community. It's really important. It's really, 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 really important. But let's say for some reason they called out or maybe they couldn't make it and you had to just hire somebody on the fly, said you was going to pay them $100 at the end of the night. Okay, cool. You need then, if that's the case, then you need signage. You need signage. You need to have a conversation with your team. Be like, hey, there's going to be people of all different walks of life here. I don't want anyone to have to disclose their gender. I don't want anyone feeling unsafe. If someone reads as male, ask them who they're here for the party for. That way they can tell you they're here for my party. And that way you will know that they're a part of my team and my community. Okay? If they're a part of the bar or there's, just coming in, then that has nothing to do with me. But make sure that you are clear about what it is and what you expect for them and how you expect for them to treat your people. All right, and also what to expect. A lot of people don't really understand how gender is fluid. One day I might look straight up femme. One day I might read as male. And that's okay. And that should be okay, right? I think the best thing for you to do is just have appropriate signage, right? If this is a queer event, make sure that you print some shit out, slap it on the fucking door, queer event. Pull the chalkboards out. Let everybody know that this is a queer event, because the last thing you want somebody to do is walk up in a space and not know that it's a queer event. They already paid and now they mad and they not leaving, but they angry and resentful because they in a queer space and they didn't want to be there. No, we don't want that. You're not going to give them their money back. You know what I'm saying? Get them out of here. You know what I'm saying? Keep it from actually becoming a problem. So those are, a few things on how to maintain that. Now, that's just for getting people to get in the space, to rent the space and for people to get in the space. You need to talk to security guards. You need to be like, hey, this is a queer event. My name is such and such. This is my event. The bar is paying you with my money. You don't have to, there's professional ways to say that without, irking somebody's ego, but you can just say, hey, you're here because of me tonight. And so this is what I need you to do. If you feel uncomfortable with anybody, let them through. Unless they feel like they're a threat to you, let them through. Don't pat anybody down. That is not necessary. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anybody. It's okay to say, I don't want anybody patted down tonight. Talk to the bar owner about that. My people, I've never had any issues. Tonight, I don't want anybody patted down. Just on some safe shit. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's a neighborhood that you feel like, you decide how you want to do this. Right? Let them know, like, this is a space and I will not tolerate you disrespecting any of my people. So if there's going to be a problem, this is something I need to know now. You really need to be clear. And this is what it takes. If you're going to create a space, this is what it takes. Okay, moving forward. Let's say the event is going, it's a mixed crowd, everyone seems cool, there's really no problems, no issues, you're having a good time, but you see some shit that's weird. Maybe people are acting a little bit weird. Maybe people are taking up way too much space. Maybe you notice like, oh, I don't know, like 30% of these people in this club right now. Now's the time to get on a mic. Yeah, it's a good idea to get on the mic and be like, hey everybody, welcome to my event. No, if you're a good host, if you're a good DJ, you know how to do this. I don't have to explain it. Thank you for coming to my event. We're having a good time. We're rocking all night. Just so you know, this event is centered around queer, trans people of color. If you got an issue, you could get, you know what I'm saying, then this might not be the space for you. Get to step in, however you want to go about it. You know what I'm saying? But we are centering this space around queer, trans people of color. All my people, all my community, come to the front. If you want, now's the time. Come to the front. And everyone who doesn't identify as such, go to the back. Center your people. See, I hate to break it down like this, and I hate to break it to you or anybody, but I want everyone to know that when you're throwing events as a DJ, and you want as a DJ, as an event holder, as somebody, a promoter, you are doing community work. If you're doing it for this community, it's community work. You need to make sure that everyone's safe, everyone's secure, everyone is comfortable. That's your job. And if you don't have the time, then you need to call on somebody else to do it. Like, hey, yo, like, bro, if I buy you a couple drinks, do you mind, like, just scanning around the area, making sure that everybody's cool, then, like, come and report to me if you see anything weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, have your peoples be like, yo, like, if you see anything, like, off, like, please let me know so that I can do something about it. I understand, you know, people can't have eyes everywhere. You can't have eyes everywhere. Call on your community to help you out. You know what I'm saying? These are some things that you can do to make sure that these spaces are safe for everybody. And I'd also like to add, if you're charging more than $20, you're not really doing this for your community. I'm just going to be real with you. I would also like to add, if you aren't, really making sure that cis hetero men understand that this is your space, then you got to correct that. You got to fix that. But this is really about the safety for the people. This is about safety for all people, honestly, for literally all people, because someone could get fucked up and it might not be who you think. Like, you know what I'm saying? The last thing you want is for a dyke like me to steal off on somebody, because I will. I really will, and I won't care. If you are disrespecting anybody in my camp, I'm wilding on you. I'm going to give you a chance to give you opportunity, but I'm wilding on. So you want to make sure that everybody's safe, and be transparent and clear from the beginning all the way to the end. Now, if there is an issue, if there happens to be an issue at the event that you're throwing, hosting, DJing, whatever, this is what you should do. That this is after you've done everything that you had to do and have a good relationship with security, a good relationship with the owner or the bartenders at the time. If there is an issue, you don't make a scene. Calmly, quietly, go to security, let them know that you have an issue that is urgent, but you would like for them to, this is their job to kind of not make a scene. Some of them really like to make a scene, but you would hope that they won't make a scene and kind of remove the person from the area. If it's one of your people, then that's when you can step in and remove them from the situation by diffusing it. Like, oh, like, bro, let me just buy you a drink, and kind of just walk off. Or like, hey, come on, oh, you want to smoke? Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can just get them out of the situation without actually creating more of a scene. You know what I'm saying? And there's classes and courses for this, and it's just really about making sure that everybody is okay and safe. Sometimes have people keep their eyes out for you. Keep your eyes out and know that it doesn't have to be this big scene if something does happen. Now, if it's the opposite and the night doesn't go your way, the club owner's not on your side, the bouncers aren't on your side, the bartenders are acting really fucking weird, you have the right, and you absolutely should exercise your right to, number one, file a complaint. All right, file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau. Write a Yelp review. Tell your people to write Yelp reviews. Get on their ass, you know. But more importantly than all of that social media fucking shit, more than anything, more than just more than anything, more than just slaying their reputation, the most important thing that you can do is never go back again. More importantly than slaying a reputation, the most important thing that you can do is just never go back again. Just never go back again, and spread the word and make sure that everyone knows that your community is not going to be attending those spaces. Your people will get behind you. Word travels fast, especially if you live in a small town or something like that. You do not have to ever give business to a place that, doesn't give business to you appropriately. This is a business transaction, and it's also about community and making sure that everyone's being taken care of appropriately. Also, you should know, since if it's security, if it's one or the other, if it's security is cool but the bartender's wild, then you already know, get the security information, get the security guards or the bouncers, get their information, because chances are they work for a third-party company, and so they're employed, and you can call their employers and file complaints. Okay, you can do that too. It's a lot of fucking work, but you want to make sure you do it, and keep everyone who was involved in the event, if something were to go down, make sure you keep them abreast of what's going on so that they know that they can count on you. You're a soldier out here. You might be, providing these events. You might be DJing left and right, but you're a soldier out here fighting for your people, making sure the spaces are safe. Now, let's say you're not. Let's say you don't want to sign up for all that shit. Okay, fair enough. If you are the type of person who they do queer events, you do queer and gay, events on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, and maybe do it 2 weekends out the month, but that's not your whole deal, then the best thing for you to do on your flyer when you're promoting these events is to let people know that this will not be a space centering them. You could word to say this, QTPOC event, but I would love for y'all to come out. You could say, this is a QTPOC event. However, it is not exclusive to QTPOC. You could say this is a QTPOC event. However, there may be cisgendered heterosexual people there who are not a part of the community. Or there may be people who come who might not be a part of the community. You got to give people options on whether they want to come to this thing or not. If you're not going to do all that other stuff that I mentioned previously, then this is something that you have to do. You got to let the people know that it's not for them, or they'll think that it is. And I think that's super important. But that's pretty much all I really had to say. We'll be talking about this at Complex Conversations. That's this Saturday, July 21st. So yeah, I'll put the flyer and all the information in the Eventbrite in the link below. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm happy. I'm good. I got my ice cream. And I think I'm transformed in learning that some sometimes I get caught up in a lot of these safe spaces, and I forget that the reason why they are safe spaces is because the rest of the world just is not safe yet. And that's why we're doing this, so that we can educate people from A to Z on how to move around each other. If you don't fuck with us, don't fuck with us, but we can still move around each other without causing each other harm, in the long run. But thank you so much for watching. You just tuned in to the Black Boy Complex, and I appreciate you. Back like you owe your tax.